Hello, part two to your first house should be an investment property. So I'm going to explain some more in depth. You're buying a $200,000 townhouse, a house, whatever the case may be. You can get a 3.5% FHA. We're going to go worst case scenario, least amount of down payment with conventional, which is 5%. So you're putting down $10,000, right? The whole goal is to get something where your closing costs are rolled in or paid. I know this market is nuts right now and you're not getting it now, but just wait it out. So $6,000, right? So now you get your closing costs rolled in. $6,000, you put that right into your next savings, okay? Wait it out. Now, the whole goal is for me to find a property that's less than the rent. So the rental market's $1,500, $1,600 right now. You just got it for $1,250 a month. So now you have different avenues. You could take to some of the bedrooms, rent them out to your friends, right? Or what you should be doing is this. If I'm paying $1,250 a month and the rental market's $1,500, I should be paying that difference into an account. And I should start saving and saving and saving and saving for my next property, right? Now, with this house right here, I personally wouldn't do any major upgrades unless it needs a roof, unless it needs an AC, okay? My personal opinion on your first house, especially if you're turning into investment, is yes, keep it clean, keep it updated, get it serviced, keep it updated in the sense of service, but I wouldn't put money into it, mega money, until it absolutely needs it, or it's a crazy market where it's about to be sold, okay? Now, you're holding on to this property because it's your retirement. I'm going to teach you guys other things. Like you can have the property and then put it into your child's name as they get older, and then they're the managing, owner of that property, and then they can learn how to do property management and rent roll and collecting it. And it's so many different ways you can do with this property. Then you could also sell it in a couple of years. I mean, granted, look, right now, today, is one of the craziest markets we've ever seen. And there are people that are making some money. Let me just show you an example for first-time home buyer on a situation that you might run into. Who the heck knows what's going to happen in the next decade. Right now, you have this for $1,250. You bought your first property. You're living in it. You're living good, right? Okay, you can afford this, great. And now as a couple years go by, you say, you know what? We're outgrowing it. We're making more money. We saved money. You can either buy another property to live into, which should be another investment property in my opinion, or you buy a personal property to live into and now this becomes your rental, or you just buy another rental in general, right? So now let's say this market right now is $1,600, right? And let's just say you're making then, $350 a month, whatever the case may be, right? So you're making a positive flow of $350 a month. Not bad, right? So $350 a month, every month it goes into an account, and you collect it all the time. Now, a couple things are happening. You're building equity because your principal is going down. And then you're hoping with appreciation that your equity is going up as well. Now, you want to hold this, you're making $350, so let's just say you're making $4,000 a year, right? So $4,000 a year, and after 10 years, it's $40,000, right? Not bad, right? Obviously, there's going to be upgrades needed, and you're going to have to put your money back into the house, but the whole point, and I'll explain this in the next video I do, is how to build it up with a little amount of money and how you can make all these profits in the long run. But then something happens. All of a sudden, we have a crazy market like right now. It's just purely insanity. And you can sell this property for, let's say, $260,000, and you can clear $50,000. And you say, I don't know if I want to sell it. It's going to make me money. Well, here's the thing. If you're making $4,000 a year, after 10 years, you're making $40,000, you can make that in the first year or whatever. You're taking a 10-year behind or 10-year rent roll to get it right away. Take it and run. If you can put it back into something else. Because at the end of the day, what I'm not getting is, unless you're making a substantial amount of money, why would you not sell the property? And this is a good thing about real estate is you're making money, you're building equity, you're bringing down your principal, and you're hoping building equity up. But if you get to a crazy market like this, where you're making 10 years forward, the money right away, it's 10 years forward, and you probably don't even have to put the money into the house, out. That's the whole thing about real estate, right? We'll go over 1031 exchanges because then when you make your profits, you got to sell it, right? Only if this is your primary residence, you don't. If it's an investment property, you do. So you said, come again? That's confusing. Okay. If you own this this house, and you sell it after 2 years and you make that money, that's a different story. If it's an investment property and you sell it, you make capital gains, you're going to get taxed on it unless you do a 1031 exchange, which you can take your capital gains and roll into another investment property. Please talk to the accountant about that. So, it's for me, it's like one big thing I love to do is I love to watch, just like you see these people in their early 20s and they're ready to buy a house and they're saying, this is going to be my first house. And you meet people sometimes that blow your mind. They're just like, look, I don't want anything expensive. I want this. I mean, I got a story about this buyer that he bought a house that was pretty rough. I mean, it was rough. And he didn't do much to it. He sold it at the right time. I think he made like $60-something thousand from it. He bought another house, and his child was like 1 year old. So they bought a house, child's 1, and I think he might have put like $5,000-10,000 into it. I ended up helping him again a couple years later. He made like $200,000. I mean, where in the world, yes, there's stocks that skyrocketed in the last year and whatnot, but I mean, look at all the money he made by buying something that no one else wanted, especially in that market. So this is just a way to go. Buy your first house, 5% down, FHA 3.5%, so even be less than that. Save on your closing costs. You take that closing cost, you roll it right into your next investment or your investment bank account, so you're ready to buy the next property, or emergency fund. You got a small mortgage payment. Make sure you pay the difference of what the rent would have been. Or, I mean, you can have so much savings as you do this, and then we'll move forward. Show you how to buy properties, the best way to get the properties, some slick ways to do it. Number one key before I leave is you should always make an infinite amount of offers, especially in a buyer's market. I think the number one thing I see is pure laziness when it comes to agents or it comes to investors, where they're like, what they might say no. Well, I don't think they're going to take it. Who the heck cares? Infinite amount of offers. Next video, I'm going to teach you guys all about that. Please, if there's anything you want to know, learn, please tell me. I love talking about this stuff. I'll tell you some details of how I bought properties. But $200,000, just an example, how you should buy your first property and turn it into an investment property, saving some money. And I'll talk to you guys all about some other stuff, about some people like paying down an extra year, knocking down 15 years, yada, 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 all these fun things. Talk to you soon.